Hey, everybody, I'm back for the second stream of the day. We are now standing by for the resumption of Donald Trump's coronavirus press briefings. This is a desperate Trump. This is a Trump who knows his back is against the wall, even though he says all the polls are fake. He knows he's losing. And this is one of the ideas that he has, along with sending paramilitaries to American cities to repress protests. This is one of the ideas he has about how he might be able to recover the polling support that he has lost over the last 3 months. So I don't know what to expect other than we've been told. Dr. Fauci said an hour ago he wasn't invited. So the question of, if it's a coronavirus press briefing, I want to hear from doctors and ideally not Dr. Birx because she's basically shown herself to be untrustworthy. It's not clear that we're even going to have doctors here. So my suspicion is that this is a propaganda event in total. Obviously, to some degree they are. It may only be a propaganda event. And we are standing by looking at 3 different streams to see if and when these go live, scheduled for 5 p.m. And hopefully they will sort of be on time. I mean, these people are notoriously late, but we will very, very soon see. Thanks to everybody who's back for the second stream of the day. Some of you joined me earlier for Kayleigh McEnany's press briefing. She's the White House press secretary. And there is a third stream scheduled for later, which will not be a serious stream. It will just be women's chess player Alexandra Botez will be coaching me for my upcoming Pog Champs 2 participation. And that'll be later. And I look forward to folks joining me for that as well. That may be Twitch only. I haven't yet made a call about that, but you'll know, that's for sure. Super chats are already coming in, and many of them are about the tragic loss of Michael Brooks. We learned yesterday that fellow progressive host Michael Brooks had suddenly passed away, my same age, Michael Brooks, and it's just been a shock the last 24 hours. And I already recorded a piece about this on my podcast, which we'll publish to YouTube in about 40 minutes. So I won't say too much about it, but I do want to mention some of the things that have been said. John Howell said, a standard of vision is established 2020. Rest in power, Michael Brooks. And Captain Crunch says, rest in power, Michael Brooks, never forgotten. I see some people in the chat talking about the great tribute that the Majority Report did today for Michael Brooks. I did watch most of it, and it was really great. It was so great to hear from. I mean, I couldn't possibly name everybody, so I'm not going to try, but certainly my friend Anna Kasparian commented beautifully, and a lot of other people. I see people in the chat asking about the shot at me that happened. Yeah, I saw that. I actually felt hurt by that. So during this tribute, Matt Binder, who I understand, I met him once or twice when I would go to Sam's studio when I lived in New York. I understand he was more the technical producer at the time. In the middle of talking about how they met Michael, and as many of you know, I knew Michael in Western Massachusetts and introduced him to Sam when I found out Michael was looking for opportunities. Binder sort of said like, oh yeah, it was like he came from the Pac-Man show. He can't be that great or can't be that smart, but we gave him a shot anyway. And then again, sort of implied like that I guess he doesn't like my show, which is totally fine. But it felt, my message on the podcast today about Michael Brooks is many of us on the left don't have the exact same politics, but this should be a reminder to sort of come together and realize we don't want to miss the forest for the trees, et cetera, and really, a sense of togetherness, so to speak. And so it was particularly hurtful. I mean, I admit, I found it really hurtful when in the middle, of this great tribute, Matt Binder sort of says he doesn't belong on the Pac-Man show. He's too smart for he's smart. This is the show for him, not the Pac-Man show. I was hurt by it, and I don't want to make it about me. So I haven't, I'm not going to send a tweet about it or anything like that. But I was hurt by it, if I'm totally honest with you, for sure. Other super chats coming in. C says, I know you visited London, but where else have you visited in England, and where would you like to visit? I've been to London and I've been to Oxford, and I would love to get to know more of England for sure. Donna Williams says, I appreciate your commentary. You make these live fests more tolerable. I appreciate your support. Donna Williams says, any more thoughts on a bingo card for Kaylee? Yeah, I may do it. I don't want to overdo stuff. And if it's all bingo, 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 bingo card for Trump and this and that, I want people wanting more. The fact that people ask for the bingo card is a good sign, right? Because that means I'm not doing too much of it where it gets boring. Thank you to Margot Cabot for subscribing on Twitch, as well as Sabine Brenda for subscribing with Prime. New John has gifted a subscription. Ranyan has subscribed on Twitch. So has Toady Capote for 7 months. And Henna Baked Ham, as well as Ribeye Roke, have subscribed, which I appreciate very, very much. This is scheduled for 5 p.m. Eastern, the top of the hour. We are now live in the room here, and we will stay on this shot to see when this starts, and hopefully it will be sooner than later. Other super chats. It's Zach Bushman says, what's your secret for listening to Trump? I have to mute him whenever he talks because I feel my brain cells dying. Just desensitization, I would say. That's really it. Captain Crunch has subscribed on YouTube. Whoa, lost some things there. Hold on. Breaker19 says, David, if you pause the stream instead of mute during your interjections, everybody will be happy so we don't miss anything. I've tried that. People aren't happy when I do that, unfortunately. David Belsky says Trump should bring the president of Finland to these press briefings. I would welcome any actual leader at these press briefings. Any leader. I would take any leader at all. Junie McGraw says, hey, DP, people like you, Michael Brooks, Sam Cedar, Kyle Kulinski, really evolved my political views after 2016. Michael Brooks' death reminded me how ephemeral life is. Take care of yourself. Rest in peace, Michael Brooks. Well said. Daniel Krieger says, don't take Matt Binder personally, Dave. We love you too. Okay, thank you. Adam Kennedy says Trump wants coronavirus to rage and chaos in the streets so he can declare martial law and cancel the election. I have a similar take that's not quite so hyperbolic, and I'm going to lay it out on tomorrow's podcast. But you're not crazy in the vein of what you're thinking. Charlie says, from the standpoint of money, $20 is merely a slice. Thanks for your awesome streams. Smash that like button, please. Yeah, if you're watching on YouTube, we need that like button destroyed. Absolutely destroyed. James Ramos says, here in Switzerland, we have like 50 cases a day. Many things are open. The U.S. looks like a dystopian movie. It is indeed one. It is indeed. Jacob Ratner says, thoughts on small government people defending secret police? Hypocrites. I mean, listen, at this point, I don't even know if it's worth spending a lot of time exposing that hypocrisy, because one side just doesn't care about hypocrisy. So it's like, what we care about it, but we're already not voting for these clowns. What's the point of continuing to expose hypocrisy that only we care about? We're already not voting for them, and they certainly don't seem to care. Jonathan says, David, how do you feel about Susan Rice as a potential VP pick for Biden? I haven't weighed in because I don't know enough about her to really say. Like, I'm very familiar with Elizabeth Warren's politics, very familiar with Kamala Harris's and some others. I'm not well positioned to say. People in Twitch are asking who I'm voting for. If you mean in the presidential election, who do you think? Sweet Baby Bladefoot says, similar to Michael Brooks, I appreciate your lens of compassion that you bring to the issues we care about. Stay well for us. Thank you. I appreciate that. Eskeel Tester says, Trump sends troops to prep for martial law. I see a lot of people with that idea. Alex Endicott says, David, thank you for always taking it to the front door of the conservatives and never giving them an inch. You do more than many of your peers. I appreciate that. Thanks to AE7C for subscribing with Twitch Prime at twitch.tv/David Pakman. As we see folks come in, I believe this is Kristen Welker from NBC getting ready to do, looks like a brief live appearance. Angela Mitchell says, do you think Ginsburg will retire once powers change hands? Republicans are chomping at the bit to fill another SCOTUS seat. I believe so. I mean, listen, I don't want to be dark in any way, but I believe that Ruth Bader Ginsburg is trying to do what she can to stick it out on the court until hopefully Joe Biden gets to pick her replacement. That's my belief. Robert Mifflin says, you say Massachusetts did well, but fourth worst death per capita. Yeah, so there's two phases with coronavirus, and I've explained this before. The early hotspots, when we had no idea what we needed to do, it was a new situation. The early hotspots were based on who has the most direct flights to the affected areas. Numerous direct flights to China from Boston's Logan Airport. New York has two major airports, Newark and JFK, with a lot of those flights. San Francisco, LA, another example, Chicago, which is why you see Illinois. Early on, the early hotspots were a result not of policy, but of essentially being very well connected to Asia and direct flights to Europe. Once we understood what we need to do, it takes months for the curves to adjust because of the process. But now what you are seeing in terms of case growth rates are policy related statistics. And so you have to sort of divide coronavirus into two stages. Now that we understand what works, masks work, for example, not gathering indoors, et cetera. Now you're seeing a very different situation where it is California and red states that are really the places, the hotspots with problems right now. And if that analysis is interesting to you, I have a bunch of clips about that on my YouTube channel. The Blue Noble says, I have a special plant gift for you on Instagram. The Fair Forager will be giving away dragon fruit cuttings. Yours will be Dark Star. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know. Nikolai Furiska says, love your show. Keep bringing the truth. Andreas Peterson says, oh, no, not another emergency rally. Yeah, well, this one's an emergency. Trump's polling is really the emergency. That's what they mean by emergency here. Let me say thank you to David Sample. David Sample is new member number 1 today at joinpacman.com. I have been limiting the membership pitches to just 60 seconds on recent streams to much success. It seems like the less I mention it, the better we do. So I'll do that brief mention now. We are a program mostly supported by viewers. Our 3 streams today and the hour podcast and the YouTube clips, all of that stuff is mostly funded by just like nice, normal people who go to joinpacman.com and grab a membership. And we've had a lot of people due to coronavirus have to bail on memberships, not because they want to, but because they have to. And we want to keep doing the show for everybody, even for the folks that have had to cancel memberships, because I understand what's going on. So if you're in the boat of someone who has a couple bucks a month, head over to joinpacman.com. We have an even better coupon code than this. 2020 Now is a very powerful coupon code, but this is an unpublished coupon code I'm about to give you. July Surprise, okay? It's all one word. It's all lowercase. That's the little letters and no spaces. July Surprise. We're talking about, really small amounts of money that support everything we do. We try to take care of our employees, health insurance. I'm looking into retirement plans and all of this stuff because I want to be part of the solution and not the problem. So folks signing up at joinpacman.com allow us to do that. And I will do my best to thank every single one of you that signs up during this stream. Time permitting, as I like to say, as some final looks like hair and makeup touches are being established here. Elements of hair and makeup happening right before our eyes. I will thank everybody who I can. Danny Thompson says, oh, where did Danny Thompson's message go? David, here is how smart I think you are and how much I appreciate you. I am a member of your show, 3 different paid memberships. In fact, I do not even subscribe to Majority Report in YouTube for free. Oh my God, Danny. Well, you could I won't feel betrayed if you subscribe to Majority Report. I think that's fine. I think it's a beautiful thing. Huge thank you to Not Vargex9 for gifting 20 subscriptions on Twitch. 20. And Darth Bane has gifted 10 more. And then Not Vargex9 gifted another 20 coming out of nowhere. I mean, just coming completely out of nowhere. And I think that, and Not Vargex9 also subscribed themselves. So an unbelievable day of winning and progressivism, I guess is the way I would say it. There is a 3rd stream scheduled for tonight. It will be a chess coaching stream where Alexandra Botez will be coaching me. And it was scheduled originally for 6, but I wanted to make sure 6 Eastern. I wanted to make sure to cover this. So it's been pushed back. I think she said she'll be streaming for several hours. So I'm going to ping her when it's time to go. And then that'll be a little bit later. Jake VX1K says, do you think Trump will unveil Clorox chewables today? Yeah, that may be. That may be. If you are just joining us, Donald Trump resuming coronavirus press briefings out of desperation. Apparently, there will not be doctors joining him on stage, or at least not Dr. Anthony Fauci. So I'm expecting a complete and total shit show. Let's see. Captain Crunch says the only way to truly honor Michael Brooks is to all come together and defeat Trump in November and for the sake of humanity. I agree very powerfully with that. Green Lover says, hey, brother, we loves ya. Keep on keeping on. UK fan club here. Love the UK fans. Megan Curran says, LOL at the White House for thinking a reporter called MAGA Nanny a lying bitch today. It's projection on their part. You know, in one video clip someone played for me, I did hear it, but I couldn't tell whether it had been added after the fact. I just really couldn't tell. It was bizarre. I want to say thank you to The Bad Wolf for subscribing on Twitch. Thanks to Beef Goggles for the sub. The Legend of Wheat Bread has subscribed. Mike Anobi has also subscribed. If you are just joining us, you have not missed anything. Trump is 4 minutes late already, and we expect him to be somewhere between 4 and 100 minutes late. That's usually the range in which he operates. Certainly, if you are just joining on YouTube, oh boy, now my phone is blowing up. That's rude of me. I apologize. I should silence my phone for streams, and usually I do. If you're just joining on YouTube, make sure to hit that like and subscribe button. We are so close to having 888 subscribers. Oh my God, no, we just passed it. We just literally got 100 subscribers in like 30 seconds. We passed it. I was hoping to take a screenshot of 888, and we just blew past it. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Don't unsubscribe, though. That's not what I'm implying. Not at all what I'm implying. Okay. Cookie says, finally got a sub to your website. Glad to find you. Love you, David. You are inspiring me to be more active in politics. Beautiful thing. I hope to do that. I hope to do that. Banana Nut Crunch says, did you hear about Asheville, North Carolina voting to give its black citizens reparations? I did not. We'll look into it. By the way, a brief technical update. As many of you know, maybe people find this interesting, maybe people don't. This Electro Voice RE20 microphone, this thing right here, you guys can hear this, right? This microphone has been with me essentially for 10 years at this point in time. And I've mentioned recently that there's a bit of a harshness to the audio lately, particularly since we moved into this room, that I don't love. And some viewers who are proficient in audio matters have reached out to me. And I have made a decision to try a new microphone. And I know that this is going to be extremely disturbing and distracting to some people, because this microphone has been the status quo for a decade on this program. This same mic, not this model, this exact microphone. But I have decided to try out the Shure SM7B. Of course, Joe Rogan uses the SM7B. The great Samuel Cedar uses the SM7B, and I got some messages from a few different people who said, give it a shot, because you might like the sort of softness that you will get from it, not low volume, but rounding out some of the harshness. So one is en route, and probably Monday I will be trying it out, and we will see how people react to a completely different microphone on the David Pakman Show. It could be extremely disturbing to a lot of people, and I understand that, but I'm going to give it a shot. And other people have recommended I really upgrade to a Neumann. But the thing about the Neumann, from what I understand, is it is so sensitive to any noise that even my voice processing would be unlikely to be able to properly get rid of background noise, like the air conditioning or a construction site outside, while not affecting my voice. So we're going to try the SM7B. I agree. I believe the Neumann is a bit overkill, and that'll be for next week. So for people who care about microphones, which is only a few of you, We'll be learning about that very strongly next week. Let me say thank you to some folks who just signed up on my website. This is unbelievable. Ulas Sini is new member number 2. Susan Kerr is new member number 3. Phil Young is new member number 4. Kelly Sabin is new member number 5. Mark Kimball is number 6. 7 is Patrick Knoll. Timothy Gowan is new member number 8. Michelle Eastham is new member number 9. Kelly Robiteau has signed up and is number 10 today. Louise O'Dwyer is number 11. And Noah Crow is new member number 12 today. I really appreciate that. Very, very much so. If you're just joining, you've not missed the stream. We are just starting. We're just starting. And Trump is 10 minutes late. We're waiting for Trump right now. Other super chats that are coming in. Remy Lebreau says, I'm worried about how an emboldened, unchecked, anonymous CBP will affect my home border town. Forced deportations sound like Stephen Miller's fantasy. I'll talk about what I think you're talking about tomorrow. Thanks to Fleming. Oh, God. Fleming Skeffegard for the YouTube membership, and Comrade Dostoevsky as well. The Dark Half says, if you were here for a pseudo rally from a dementia-riddled old man, then you found the spot. That's mean. Sand Snake says, what was the earlier briefing about? Basically, Kayleigh McEnany continuing to insist that Trump is going to rescue us from violent protesters, the nation over, essentially. White Death says, hi, David, love your show. Keep it up. Have you considered interviewing some Uyghur activists like Nuri Turkul or Irade Kashgari? I would love that. Please email me about that. Evan Field says plus or minus 10 minutes before Mango Mussolini melts down. I think he'll melt down when it gets to questions. And he'll probably talk more than 10 minutes. So I think it'll be more than 10 in that sense. Nick the Gamer says, how many members do you currently have? I don't have that answer, actually. The number is in flux, so people are canceling and subscribing, et cetera, et cetera. I don't actually know the answer to that. Wade Flores says, hey, David, no question today. Wanted to say love the show. Keep up the good work. Thank you. Bay Photo says, will Roger Stone be heavily involved with advising Trump's campaign now? How dangerous could things get? I don't know about Roger Stone, but dangerous is exactly the word that I used on a clip which we just published on YouTube, which is a desperate Trump is a dangerous Trump. Okay, I encourage you to check out that video. Thomas W. says, left is best. Rest in power, Michael Brooks. Well said. Bob Rabbit says, thank you, David. You change lives every day. Rest in peace, Michael Brooks. Let's go to Donald Trump.
Well, thank you very much, and good afternoon. Today, I want to provide an update on our response to the China virus.
Oh, boy.
And what my administration is doing to get the outbreak in the Sun Belt under control. Seems largely in Sun Belt, but could be spreading. My team is also working night and day with Capitol Hill to advance the next economic relief package. We're working very hard on it. We're making a lot of progress. I also know that both sides want to get it done. We'll call it phase 4. I think we're going to get it done. We'll protect our workers, our schools, and our families, and protect them very strongly. As one family, we mourn every precious life that's been lost. I pledge in their honor that we will develop a vaccine and we will defeat the virus. We're doing very well with vaccine development and therapeutic development.
Remember, unrelated to Trump.
But I want to thank our brave doctors and nurses and frontline responders. The job they do is incredible, and they are truly brave. My administration will stop at nothing to save lives and shield the vulnerable, which is so important. We've learned so much about this disease, and we know who the vulnerable are.
So this is what's clear. People got to Trump and they said, if you don't want to lose by 15, you've got to start talking like this. And it seems like Trump is acquiescing.
If you look at the old system and look at the new system, I think by years. The China virus is a vicious and dangerous...
By the way, China virus, come on, dude.
...about it. and who it targets. We are in the process of developing a strategy that's going to be very, very powerful. We've developed them as we go along. Some areas of our country are doing very well, others are doing less well.
Yes.
It will probably, unfortunately, get worse before it gets better. Something I don't like saying about things, but that's the way it is.
It's amazing that they got Trump to say that. They've decided you've got to concede it's going to get worse because he's been denying it now for 6 months. This is a totally new strategy.
Hard, and we are supporting them 100%. Everything they need, they get, and we are taking good care. We have tremendous supplies and a great supply chain, whether it's ventilators or gowns or just about anything they need. So that's a big difference from inheriting very, very empty cupboards. The median age of those who succumb to the China virus is 78 years old. Roughly half of all deaths have been individuals in nursing homes or long-term care. In one study, 90% of those hospitalized had underlying medical conditions, whether it's heart or diabetes, but usually it's some kind of a condition. It seems that people have that, and if they do, it's a problem, no question about it. Young adults may often have mild or even no symptoms. They won't even know they're sick. They won't have any idea that they have a virus.
Are you guys feeling the push-pull between Trump trying to say things that make more sense about this, but being unable to get away from the empty cupboards and China virus and this? There's a push-pull happening.
Whether you like the mask or not, they have an impact. They'll have an effect, and we need everything we can get. Data shows children have the lowest fatality risk. 99.96% of all virus fatalities
so they should go to school,
in
right?
adults.
I'm guessing
Think
he's
of
building to that.
So that's much, much, much less than 1% for children, young people. By understanding these risk profiles and learning how to treat the disease, we've been able to greatly reduce mortality in the United States. In fact, we'll show you a chart and how well we do compared to the rest of the world. We have several treatments already available that significantly reduce the severity and duration.
Remember, this is Trump mixing up deaths per capita with case fatality rate, with infection fatality rate. I've already told you we should be looking at deaths per capita for what Trump is talking about, comparing between countries. I won't rehash it.
We've learned best practices for treatment of the virus at every stage and have shared these findings with medical providers, and we've shared them all over the world. The relationship with other countries has been very strong. We're all working together. This includes ensuring all hospitals are aware of the importance of different approaches to oxygen treatment, including high-flow oxygen, the importance of steroid treatment for those on ventilators. And when you're on a ventilator, we've learned a tremendous about the use of the ventilator. And at the beginning, people never had an experience like this, where we needed so many ventilators so fast, and even the use of the ventilators. But the doctors have become incredibly, and nurses and helpers have become incredibly good at the use of a ventilator, which is actually a very complicated procedure, and allocating remdesivir to hospitals based on new.
My guess is they told Trump stay on script, and the questions may throw him into an absolute spiral.
Really started, they're using it much earlier. Fatalities nationwide have fallen 75% since mid-April. That's a great number. As cases and fatalities rise in certain hard-hit states, which you're looking at right now, we're surging personnel, supplies, and therapeutics. We again have tremendous amounts of supplies. We are in very good shape, and we can move them quickly.
Case fatality rate.
Our case fatality rate has continued to decline and is lower than the European Union and almost every.
Remember, what matters is deaths per capita. We are 10th highest. This is a deception. Check out my clip from yesterday.
Involved with and suffering from the China virus. Well, the world is suffering very badly, but the fact is that many countries are suffering very, very, very badly, and they've been suffering from this virus for a long time. We've done much better than most, and with the fatality rate at a lower rate than most, it's something that we can talk about, but we're working again.
10th highest deaths per capita in the world, soon to be 9.
I don't even know about. I get calls all the time asking for help. especially as it pertains to the ventilators. They need help with ventilators. They have to get them. They're very hard to get. We're making thousands now a month, thousands of ventilators a month. It's been quite amazing. We keep doing the good job, and things will get better and better. We'll be putting up charts behind me showing different statistics and different rates of success, and I guess you could say also things that we can do better on. But you'll see them. They'll be put up as we go. In April, the average age of individuals who tested positive for the virus was over 50 years old. Today, the average age is significantly younger. Hospital lengths of stay are almost half of what they were in April. So the stays are about half. The rate of cases requiring hospitalization.
Fox just switched to a different feed, so we're going to switch also to the
things that we can do
feed.
better on. But you'll see them. They'll be put up as we go. In April, the average age of individuals who tested positive for the virus was over 50 years old. Today, the average age is significantly younger. Hospital lengths of stay are almost half of what they were in April. So the stays are about half. The rate of cases requiring hospitalization has been reduced, and mortality among those admitted to the hospital is nearly one half of what it was in April. We've learned a lot. We've learned a lot about this disease, how to handle it. The doctors have learned a lot.
Remember, cumulative tests is essentially meaningless to us right now.
And things are happening too, like the remdesivir and other elements, steroids, et cetera. But these trends could change without our continued and relentless focus. And that's what we have. We have a relentless focus, and it's been that way from the beginning. But we've learned so much. As you know, in recent weeks, we've seen a concerning rise in the cases in many parts of our South. If you look at South, Southwest, and West, this growth in cases first began to appear in mid-June, primarily among 18 to 35-year-olds, many of whom were asymptomatic. We're also facing the challenge of a significant spike in virus cases across the rest of the Western Hemisphere, including Mexico. Mexico's been hit very, very, very hard. As you know, the president, a great gentleman, was here 2 weeks ago, and they have really been hit hard. Because we've achieved a nearly fourfold increase in testing capacity in 2 months, we're successfully identifying more asymptomatic and mild cases. Some cases so mild that you really don't even treat them. Some cases with children where they don't even know that they're ill. And I guess they're not very ill because they recover almost immediately. Per capita, the U.S. is conducting 50% more tests than Europe. And we've conducted nearly 3 times as many tests as all of the other countries in the Western Hemisphere combined. Be over 50 million tests. This allows us to isolate those who are infected.
Yeah, so this is, cumulative test doesn't really tell us much. Importantly, Trump said our capacity has increased fourfold in the last 2 months. They use this term capacity. If you look at the number of tests done per day, it hasn't increased fourfold over the last 2 months. The data is widely available. I'll put it up on the screen momentarily.
With all governors, but right now, in particular, those governors. We're coordinating closely with hospitals and governors. In the last 3 weeks, I've sent senior officials into 9 states to meet with governors and provide recommendations to the various leaders of the state, including hospital administrators, et cetera. My administration currently has 0 unfulfilled requests for equipment or anything else that they need from the governors. No governor needs anything right now, and we think we'll have it that way till the end because, frankly, we are stocked up and ready to go wherever we have to go. We've nearly 7,000 National Guard and military medical personnel in Texas, California, Florida, and Arizona that's helping us greatly. I want to thank them very much. The military has been fantastic. We're closely monitoring hospital capacity in these states. Hospitals are open for elective surgeries and other procedures. So hospitals are open for elective surgeries. We want Americans to get the medical treatments they need. All of the governors we've spoken with say they have enough bed capacity. That's a great thing. Our initial shutdown was to prevent the overflow of our hospitals and to allow us to meet the demands caused by this global pandemic including the ventilators. And a permanent shutdown was really never an option in terms of what we're doing right now. This would be completely unsustainable, produce debilitating economic fallback, and lead to catastrophic public health consequences. There are consequences to shutdowns, and we've saved potentially millions of lives by doing the initial shutdown, but now we're
I'm starting to doubt whether he's going to take questions. He better.
large extent. Nobody's going to maybe ever fully understand it, but we'll end up with a cure, we'll end up with therapeutics, we'll end up with a vaccine very soon, all three. We're instead asking Americans to use masks, socially distance, and employ vigorous hygiene. Wash your hands every chance you get while sheltering high-risk populations. We are imploring young Americans to avoid packed bars and other crowded indoor gatherings. Be safe and be smart. We're surging testing capacity to identify and isolate cases. This includes a newly approved testing platform to nursing homes across the South. We're being very, very vigilant with respect to nursing homes because you know all of the problems that we've had with so many people, so sadly, they were infected, so that all of the staff and residents can be routinely tested and isolated to ensure our elderly are even more strongly protected than anybody else. That's really the high-risk people, the high-risk, wonderful people. Once this current surge in cases declines, this same testing platform will enable people to visit their loved ones after taking a test, which is a big difference. Ultimately, our goal is not merely to manage the pandemic, but to end it. We want to get rid of it as soon as we can. That is why getting a vaccine remains a top
This attitude would have been worthwhile in February and March and April and May.
Stage of clinical trials this month. This was achieved in record time. It used to be years before you were in a position like we are right now. 4 other vaccines will enter final trials in the following weeks, and we're mass producing all of the top candidates so that the first approved vaccine will be available immediately. And logistically, we have the military ready to go. We have great people, logistic military people, a wonderful general who's waiting for the vaccine so they can distribute it in record time. That's what's going to happen. So our military is all set to go.
Oh, yeah, that guy we haven't seen for months.
Vaccine, therapeutics, whatever it is necessary, and defeat the virus once and for all. And I'll take a few questions if you'd like. I will say this. I want to thank all of the staff, the White House staff, all of the doctors that we've been working with so closely, and just a lot of very positive things are happening. It's a nasty, horrible disease that should have never been allowed to escape China, but it did. And it infected the world, and the world is suffering, but we're going to get it taken care of, and we're helping lots of other countries. John?
Mr. President, first I just wanted to get a clarification. Your press secretary said today that you sometimes take more than one test a day. Well, why is that? And how often?
Well, I didn't know about more than one. I do take probably on average a test every 2 days, 3 days. And I don't know of any time I've taken 2 tests in one day.
He can't think of once he's done 2 tests.
So Republicans and Democrats
so she lied about that. Wow.
They want to see more money for testing. They want to send billions of dollars to the states so they can do more testing. And you probably saw Mick Mulvaney the other day said that his kids, it took them a week to get test results back. He said this is simply inexcusable. Given where we are in the pandemic. Do you think we have a problem with testing in this country right now? Well, and are you in favor of more money for testing?
That I prefer.
Massive. Whoa.
And as we go, as an example, there are thousands and thousands of.
All right, we're bailing. We're going to go to a different.
Tonight and tomorrow on that. And again, we're leading the world. I think the second country at 12 million. We're going to be over 50 million tests. Second country is India with 12 million. Then you have 7 million, 6 million, and 4 million. I think that we are doing tremendous amount of testing. But if the doctors and the professionals feel that even though we're at a level that nobody ever dreamt possible, that they would like to do more, I'm okay.
Well, where are the
doctors? Your doctors not with you here today. Where's Dr. Fauci, Dr. Birx?
Well, Dr. Birx is right outside. Yes, please.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Right outside the door.
Number one, I just wanted to know, in November, do you want the American people to judge
Could
you
you
on
speak up, please?
Do you want the American people to judge you on the ballot in November by how you've handled this pandemic so far?
This, among other things, I think the American people will judge us on this, but they'll judge us on the economy that I created and that already we're creating. We're setting record job numbers, as you know.
Oh, not that again.
I think we're going to have a very strong year next year. I think we're going to have a very strong third quarter, a very good fourth quarter, but I think next year is going to be a record year, and I think they're going to judge me on that. I think they're going to judge me on the tax cutting and the regulation cutting, which nobody's ever done to the extent that we've been able.
Polls say no one's judging him on regulation cutting. That's not registering with voters.
We got Veterans' Choice. Nobody thought that would be possible.
Veterans' Choice is an Obama policy from 2014.
It's called Choice, where they can go get a doctor if they have to wait online for 2 weeks or 5 weeks or 2 days. And frankly, that's been a great thing. Veterans accountability, I think they'll judge me on that.
No, they won't.
They'll judge me on all of the things we've done. I don't think, and I think we can say this, we sure, and it's never been even challenged in 3.5 years, the first 3.5 years, the first years of a presidency, I don't think any administration, any president has accomplished so much as we've accomplished, from energy to health to so many other things. And then this came in, and the plague, I call it the plague came in, terrible thing, should have been stopped, wasn't stopped. It came in, we had to shut things down to save potentially millions of lives. We did that, and now we've started them up. And I think we've really started it up very successfully.
Elective
Mr. President, thank you, Mr. President. You've been saying for months that the virus would simply disappear, and now you're saying that it's likely to get worse before it gets better. If it does keep getting worse, if Americans keep dying, are you responsible for that?
Well, the virus will disappear.
There it is.
Will disappear. I think that I always like to say, as you know, either way, when you look at it, the governors are working with me. I'm working with the governor. We're working hand in hand. I think we're all responsible. I view it as a team. Very good relationships with the governor.
This is like the people who say the world's about to end, the world's about to end, it doesn't. And they go, listen, eventually the sun will expand and consume the planet. Like eventually I'll be right in a few billion years. Well, it's not really the spirit of what you were saying.
Saved tens of thousands of lives when I closed the border, and nobody wanted to do it. I wanted to do it. We closed the border to China. We put on the ban. We didn't want people coming in from heavily infected China. Fairly shortly thereafter, I closed the borders from Europe, coming in from Europe. Those were tremendous moves. We would have, if it's one person, it's too much, but we're at, let's say, 140,000. We could have double, triple, quadruple.
I'm still having a hard time understanding whether Trump saved thousands, hundreds of thousands, millions, or billions of lives. I can't tell which it is.
It's a shame that it happened. It shouldn't have happened. China should have stopped it. Please. Yes, go ahead, please.
Thank you, President Trump. If I could, two questions. My first question is, we have a very quick testing platform here at the White House.
Yes.
It's great. You get tested, you know, very quickly. Do you think that it would be easier to reopen and restart businesses if we could produce more of those machines?
We're trying to do that. Great question. We're trying very much to do that. So rather than sending your tests in and, you know, it goes through the mail one day, comes back another day, no matter how they send them, it's a day and a day, so that's 2 days already wasted. And then if it spends, by the time you get it back, it's 3 or 4 days if they do an efficient job. We're trying to get the testing on site.
Thank you.
I like it the best.
And my follow-up, my second question, it's a little bit a different topic, but it's one that a lot of people are talking about. Ghislaine Maxwell is in prison, and so a lot of people want to know if she's going to turn in powerful people. And I know you've talked in the past about Prince Andrew, and you've criticized Bill Clinton's behavior. I'm wondering, do you feel that she's going to turn in powerful men? How do you see that working out?
I don't know. I haven't really been following it too much. I just wish her well, frankly. I've met her numerous times over the years, especially since I lived in Palm Beach. And
we know.
I guess they lived in Palm Beach.
They did.
But I wish her well, whatever it is. I don't know the situation with Prince Andrew. Just don't know. Not aware of it.
Mr. President,
Thank you, sir. On unemployment insurance, how much below $600 are you willing to go? And you said that the economy is bouncing back strong, so why do we need to even cut it at all?
Well, the economy is getting stronger, and I think we have a chance to have a very strong economy, especially if some of the things that I just spoke about work. We want to have people go back and want to go back to work, as opposed to be sort of forced into a position where they're making more money than they expected to make, and the employers are having a hard time getting them back to work.
Wait, I'm confused.
So that was a decision that was made. I was against that original decision, but they did that. It still worked out well because it gave people a lifeline, a real lifeline. Now we're doing it again. They're thinking about doing 70% of the amount. The amount would be the same, but doing it in a little bit smaller initial amounts so that people are going to want to go back to work as opposed to making so much money
This making
that
sense to
they
anyone?
really don't have to. But we were very generous with them.
The word
I think
salad.
that it's been a tremendously successful program. The whole thing has been successful if you look. I mean, we're in a pandemic,
We know.
and yet we're producing tremendous number of jobs. That was something that nobody thought possible.
Well, we recovered
Okay.
some of the
Mr.
loss.
President, thank you very much. Yesterday, you said that wearing a mask was an act of patriotism. If that is the case, why don't you do it more frequently?
Well, I do actually do it when I need. I mean, I carry the mask when I have to go. I went into Walter
Get ready
Reed
for this.
Hospital the other day. I have the mask right here, and I carry it, and I will use it gladly. No problem with it. And I've said that, and I say, if you can, use the mask. When you can, use the mask. If you're close to each other, if you're in a group, I would put it on when I'm in a group. If I'm in an elevator and there are other people with me, including like security people, it's not their fault. They have to be in the elevator. I want to protect them also. I put on a mask.
Wow, what a presidential sounding Trump
I have
today.
no problem with the masks. I view it this way. Anything that potentially can help, and that certainly can potentially help, is a good thing. I have no problem. I carry it. I wear it. You saw me wearing it a number of times, and I'll continue. Please.
This is a new
Can
Trump.
I ask a quick follow-up?
Go ahead, please.
So are you sending mixed messages, though? Yesterday, you tweeted out an image wearing a mask, and then last evening, we saw you not wearing a mask at your hotel.
Well, I don't know the hotel. I was pretty far away from people, but I would say this. I've explained it, I think, very well. If you're close together, I would put on the mask, and if you're not, I would say that if you're, for instance, I'll see, like here, you've been all tested, I've been tested. Oftentimes, I'll be with people that are fully tested, I've been tested.
Fully
In
tested.
theory, you don't need the mask. I'm getting used to the mask, and the reason is, think about patriotism. Maybe it is, it helps. It helps. Now, we have experts that have said in the recent past that masks aren't necessarily good to wear. You know that.
Here we go.
But now they've changed their mind. If they change their mind, that's good enough for me. So I wear it when appropriate. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you, sir. A lot of Americans, though, may be surprised at your change of tone
Yes.
over all of this. A
We're
more
all
perhaps
surprised.
realistic
called
tone. Some
Poland.
would look at it that way. The sudden embrace of masks, social distancing,
Well, I've always agreed with that. I mean, I've never fought either one, but certainly social distancing. I want to. That's common sense.
The
6
idea that
feet to
things-
me is common sense. I'd like to say maybe make it a little bit further.
the idea that things will get worse perhaps before they get better here.
Yeah,
And
they're going to.
perhaps the realization that this resurgence, if you will, is for real when you used to talk about it in terms of little fires being put out here and there. Would you
We have them
respond
too.
to that?
No, we have embers and fires, and we have big fires, and
We've got a
unfortunately now
five-alarm.
Florida
Wow.
is in a little tough or in a big tough position. You have a great governor there. You have a great governor in Texas. You have people that are very, very skilled people, and I think they're going to handle it very well. Their hospital capacities are holding up, but Texas is a big state, and it's very well run, and so is Florida, and I think they'll do a very good job.
Florida's not
Changing your
well run.
tone, though, sir?
I just wanted to ask you about the issue of vaccines, which you already mentioned. Yesterday, a study by a Chinese company showed some promising results for its coronavirus vaccine candidate. If China were first in developing the vaccine, or even if it weren't, would the administration be willing to work with China to bring a successful Chinese vaccine to the U.S.?
Yeah, we're willing to work with anybody that's going to get us a good result. We're very close to the vaccine. I think we're going to have some very good results. We're already in testing. Nobody thought that would be possible. Under the old system, it would be a year to 2 years before you could even think about using the word testing. So I think we've had a lot of,
That's not true
and the reason
at
we're
all.
testing, I mean, they've had good results. So now we have to see in the testing also for safety, because they have to make sure it's safe. And I think you're going to see something over the next fairly short period of time, maybe very short period of time, having to do with therapeutics and vaccines that are very good. So we'll be doing these quite often. We're going to keep you abreast of this, and we'll
Yeah.
also talk about some of the other topics like our economy,
Because of
which
that
is
polling, huh?
doing well. The stock market had another good day. I think they have a good day because they see a lot of positive things happening on this front too. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
So it is the new Donald Trump clearly realizing that everything he has done for 6 months has been a failure and he needs to do something new. a conciliatory Trump, a Trump that is, I don't even know what to call it, sort of accepting reality to some degree, I guess we would say. I don't know if it's too little too late. You know, there's still a lot, you can sense the BS in there. The Florida's well run. Ron DeSantis is a complete lunatic. You know, we're putting out embers. It's like, no, we are now, we're arguably not even at the peak. We are peaking, but the next peak may be even very much higher. So this is merely a strategy to try to win some votes back, because he sees, according to Rasmussen, a right-wing pollster, he's losing by 3 to Biden. According to multiple other polls, he's losing by between 10 and 15. So will this last? Can Trump be this more sort of sensible Trump for any significant period of time? I really don't know. I don't know. As you saw, starting to go into his typical antics there when asked some of those tougher questions, it's going to be a matter of wait and see. I don't know what to expect, but we will see if there is another one of these tomorrow. Okay, I'm going to go because I still have my third stream of the day coming up later. It'll be on Twitch. It'll be with Alexandra Botez, and it will be my continued training for the upcoming PogChamps 2 chess tournament. I get that that's not serious stuff. We've got a lot of very serious things, but we're trying to balance and do some things that are a little bit less serious. So I will see all of you a little bit later at twitch.tv/David Pakman.